Good morning everyone. So it's April, it's 4 degrees, the sun's out, the maximum temperature today is going to be 12. So where are we off to today? Well, we're taking the bike over to Rybrook BMW for its 30,000 mile service. The bike was 3 years old last week. We've renewed the extended warranty. £397 I think it cost me for the warranty, but it's worth it. I mean, I don't commute on the bike, but I've done 30,000 miles on it in 3 years, and you know, we do some trips. So like this year we're doing Ireland, there's 2,000 miles. We're doing Norway, so there's 4,000 miles, and we're doing a trip in France, which is another 2,000 miles. So the other 2,000 miles in between them trips is just pottering around the UK. So I think the warranty is well worth it. It comes with recovery as well, so if you break down, you've got BMW backing you up while you're away. So I suppose the question is, how have I got on with it after 30,000 miles? Well, the short answer is I absolutely love it. It does everything I want it to do, two up with full luggage on it. Now, don't get me wrong, I did have a Ducati Multistrada 1260S, which I did 18,000 miles on, and yes, it's got a lot more horsepower, and it was great when I was on my own. But as soon as you put luggage and people on it, I just felt that it was wallowing around, it was carrying too much weight. This GS Adventure just absolutely smashes every box. I've heard any faults with it? Well, yeah, I suppose, what was it, 2,800 miles, the exhaust packed up, the flappy bit inside. BMW replaced the whole exhaust under warranty. Apparently it's got an upgraded flappy valve on it. I've not had a problem since, so the upgrade obviously works. So I've been through 5 sets of tyres. We started off with the Anarchies Adventures, which it came with. Initially I thought they were great, and they are great in the dry. I'm not completely comfortable with them in the wet, especially when they start to square off, which if you're riding two up with full luggage on, you're going to square your tyres off quicker. So the next set of tyres, I was going to have the Anarchies on, but I ended up having the Taurus Next 2 on because the Anarchies were out of stock at the time. I've got to be honest, the Taurus Next 2, I just absolutely loved them. They were great in the wet, they were great in the dry. When they squared off, I couldn't even tell they'd squared off when they squared off. It was weird, especially in the wet. There was no roll, there was no slip, so I loved them. So I ended up having another 2 sets of them put on, and then I was given a set of Anarchy Adventures. So I put them back on. They were great. I did Ireland in them last year, but when the winter came and the rain came and the tyres were squared off, I started getting that roll again, and I was like, because I do ride through the winter, so I thought, do you know what, they've got to go. I'd warm out. So I went in, and in my head I was getting the Dunlop Mutants, but when I got there and I started talking to the bloke, and I just asked him that question, Taurus Next 2 or Dunlop Mutants? And he went, Taurus Next 2, and I asked him why. He just said, they're not as good. But I've never tried them, so I don't know. So, you know, maybe somebody's running them out there and they love them. You know, I've seen other YouTubers use them, but I suppose you go with what you know. Well, that was the plan, so I was going to get the Taurus Next 2. No, I I didn't end up with them. I ended up with the Michelin 6. And the only reason I ended up with them is I'd had the 5s on the Ducati and I just kept getting punctures. I went through 3 sets of tyres in 4,500 miles and just kept blowing up on me. And I said I'd never try and never go back to them. But my mate got them on his GS and we went to Ireland and he put them through the paces. We took them off-road. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're no good in the mud, but let's be honest, on a bit of gravel they were fine and we couldn't puncture them. So the bloke says they're the same price with the cashback offer, so I ended up getting the Road 6s on. Well, they're not called the Road 6s, I don't know, they're just called Michigan 6s in my head. So bugged them on and they are fantastic. They turn quicker than the road, than the Taurus next to. They handle well in the wet. I've not squared them off yet, so I don't know what they're going to be like in the wet squared off. But if they're as good as the Taurus next to, I'll go with them again, because they do handle just that slightly better in the dry. Oh, he's got a bit of a flat tyre on his left hand wheel at the back. Oh, it's really flat. I might have to let him know that. Got a flat tyre. I don't think she actually heard me, she just smiled. So this is the only problem you've got when your dealer is in a major town, especially if you book your bike in for an early service. I have just battled through the last 10 miles of just constant traffic. I've got 4 miles to go now. Well, I can honestly say that was 36 miles of hell through that traffic. We're nearly here now. The bike's going to get some pampering. And the next time you see me, I will be on something different. It's going to be a BMW. They ain't going to lend me a Ducati, are they? But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what it is. So, picked up the courtesy bike, dropped mine off for its 30,000 miles. When I booked it in, I told them that I'd need the brake fluid doing, as I believed it was coming up for 2 years. They said, yeah, no problem. When I've got there, I'm just about to leave on this, and they've come out and said, oh, under your all-inclusive service, we can only do what's flagged up, and the brake fluid's not flagged up. To which I said, well, I had it done on the 9th of the 5th, so it's like 11 days away. Oh. So, bless the service manager, he went away and checked, and he said, well, at 31,000 miles, it's going to need doing regardless of the time. So, what are you doing in the next couple of weeks? I said, well, I'm doing Ireland. Oh, well, let me put it through, we'll just hope that they authorise it. So I'm guessing they're just going to cover the cost of that, which, you know, I've had it serviced there for its entire life. So yeah, so I've picked the bike up, and guess what, it's a BMW. Well, we knew it was going to be that, didn't we? But they gave me a choice of 3. So they gave me the 900, the F900, the XR1000, and what I'm on now. And can you guess what it is? No, right. Okay, so it's the new R12, the R12, yeah, the R12. It's got the 1200 air-cooled engine in it, the boxer engine, straight out the old GS. I've literally done 2 miles on it. All I say is it's a bit like the R9T, which is a very hard suspension for a big chap like me. So it is shaking me to bits, but never mind, it's a different bike. So I know absolutely nothing about this bike. I've not even attempted to look at what the specs are yet. Other than the engine, that's all I know. Oh, it's nippy. Of course it's going to be nippy. It's ever so small. I mean, it's a case of that. Does my arse look big in this? Absolutely, yes, because this bike is so small. But it looks like it could be a little bit of fun. So I'm going to ride it over towards Newport Way, Whitechurch Way, that way. And then come back at lunchtime and pick mine up. So, this is what they gave me, an R12, come out this year, or last year. It's a nice looking bike. I'm not sure I want to go anywhere on it. It's got the air-cooled 1200 Boxer engine in it. I have no idea on any of the other specs, so I'll put them up on the screen when I find out. So the R12, lovely looking bike. It is a bit hard on the old suspension, but it is classed as a cruiser. So I'm guessing the definition of cruiser is you're going to cruise up and down the high street. I can't see you doing massive miles on it. I just think it would be too much stress for me anyway. Somebody else might enjoy it, but I just find the suspension a bit hard. But it's a lovely bike. I mean, it's got plenty of grunt with that 1200 air-cooled engine in it. I mean, it's ever so light. So is it any good in the bends? Well, it seems to handle alright, despite its wooden suspension. I mean, it appeals to a certain type of person. I've got to be honest, it's not my sort of bike. I like the comfort of the GS. Would I go on a long trip? Probably not. Would I cruise up and down the high street? Yeah, it's got to be a pose factor on it. I'd have to get some new gear though. You know, I'd have to get some brown boots, some jeans, all that sort of retro look, rather than this textile stuff I'm wearing. It's a vibey bike. I mean, everything vibrates on it. The wing mirrors are a little bit blurry. You can feel the vibrations coming through the forks. It's rattling my head around. It's a bike for, I don't know, it's a bike for people that like this sort of thing. I mean, it's not my kind of thing, but there you go. I like a bit more comfort. I suppose if I was just cruising along in the sun in my jeans and my brown biker boots and my retro clothing, yeah, I went past the mirror, I'd probably look at myself and go, yeah, it looks alright. But no, I wouldn't do any mileage on it, not serious mileage. Don't get me wrong, the engine is lovely, but I'd have to change all the suspension. I'm a big bloke, so that might not help. But there's a certain type of person that buys this bike, and you know, each to their own. I guess one day I'll get there, or not. I don't know where I'm going to go. I said I'd never have a GS, but I ended up moving up from a Blackbird to a Multistrada because I thought the GS was that step too far with the tin cans on it. But you know, 2.5 years later I'm on a GS and I absolutely love it. So you can never say never. Oh well, can't wait to get the GS back, fully serviced up, ready for Ireland. Looking forward to that wild Atlantic way. Just hope the weather's good. I've never been in May. Been in September twice and the weather has been absolutely gorgeous. But some people say the weather's just as nice in May. But at the moment, the weather's not looking like that. It's looking like it could be a wet one. Well, picked the bike up, everything's good. Said it's full service. Doesn't need a valve clearance this time. In fact, it didn't need a valve clearance for 24,000 miles, so at some point it will need one. They've done the brake fluid for me, which is very kind of them.
Well, that's it for now. If you have enjoyed this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button and hit the notification button so you get the next video. And that's it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.